So, Mr. President, you have a very ambitious economic agenda, which you highlighted a number of elements of. You're looking for job growth, economic growth. Can you give us some insights if you had only 3 or 4 priorities for economic development and growth? You mentioned a number, but what would be your top 4 priorities that you think is unique in some ways to Kenya's competitive advantage?
Thank you very much, Ambassador. The 3 primary spaces where we believe we have a competitive, maybe even comparative advantage is in agriculture. There is huge space in agro-processing, enhancing Kenya's productivity. We already are exporting quite a bit, not just to Europe and other destinations, but also to America. That is a space that we believe there is potential, there is opportunity, and we can expand that space. Number 2, we have space in human development. We believe there is huge opportunity of building our human and deploying our excellent human capital globally to serve, to work, and to extend opportunities globally. We have real opportunity in green energy. If there is one space we are very proud of as a country, is the space around sustainability. Any investment, any business, any enterprise that is not thinking sustainability has some homework to do. Because the future is about how we can do it sustainably. And therefore, renewable energy occupies a very central place in how we can do business into the future. And lastly, is the digital space. Every space is tech today. And that is why we believe that technology, the digital space, will help Kenya, will help our region leapfrog the many challenges that we have. We can deliver government services much more efficiently. We can deliver commerce much more efficiently. We can create tremendous opportunity in that space, and we can overcome many hurdles and many challenges using technology. So these are the areas we are focused on, and we believe that there is scope for us as Kenya and our region to work with the US in these spaces.
And you launched something at COP28 called Africa's Green Industrial Initiative. And I'd love it if you could tell the audience a little bit about that initiative, how you feel it's going, what the big opportunities are, and maybe what American investors can do to accelerate that most important initiative.
The context of the Africa Green Industrial Initiative is that for a very long time, the narrative around our continent was about trouble, war, conflict, disease, poverty, which was not a correct narrative. And therefore, as leaders in this continent, we made a deliberate decision that though we bear the brunt of climate change with floods, with famine, and all the things that come with it, but it was time to reposition this continent as what it is, a continent of opportunity, tremendous potential, investment opportunity, and renewable energy is one space where we have 60% of the world's renewable energy assets. And therefore, it became necessary for us to use our assets, renewable energy. We have 30%, close to 40% of the world's mineral resources assets, including those that are necessary for energy transition. We have 60% of the world's arable, uncultivated land that can help in sorting out global food security. We have the youngest population. So we have real assets that we can deploy. And that's why we decided it is time to present our continent as a continent of opportunity. And the first phase is in green industrialization. It will not only help decarbonize our continent, it will also help decarbonize the globe. So we're not just providing solutions to African problems, we are also providing solutions to global challenges. And therefore, this Green Africa industrialization is about data centers, green steel, smart agriculture. This is the space that we are providing, and we've worked collaboratively with different countries. We will be having a conversation on Sunday and Monday here in Nairobi with the World Bank so that we can lay priorities in this space for investment and get resources to drive our own development. So the green industrialization space is about using African assets in renewable energy, in mineral resources, in agricultural potential, and using them to drive African growth, but in a sustainable manner. 2022, we had 8,000 acres of land planting cotton. Last year, we did 40,000 acres. This year, we are doing 110,000 acres, and our focus for next year is 200,000 acres, so that we can provide the cotton for garments that will go into our special economic zones, so that we don't have to import fabric from other quarters. Fabric can be found right here in Kenya. It will speak a lot to incomes to our farmers. It will speak a lot to our revenues in terms of tax. It will also speak tremendously to job opportunities created. So the apparel space is premium space for us. And we are not only thinking about how to make it work better, we are even considering how do we work with the power tariffs to make it much more easier for our investors in that zone to be able to produce much more competitively. That is the space we are working on, and that is the reason why we keep engaging that sector. To the American companies who are here, to investors who are here from different parts of the world, we believe that we have a value proposition that Kenya can make to you and your enterprises. Number one, we have great talent here. We have a real good human capital. Whatever you want, if you want a good engineer, it doesn't take long to train them. A good financial person, somebody who can, different skills. And we are very keen on getting the standard of our education to the right level so that you can access our human capital and use their talent to grow your business. Number two, we are a very tech-savvy country. So technology will help accelerate what you can do in your companies, and Kenyans and the Kenyan ecosystem. We are consistently building on making sure that across the country we have fiber optic, we have access to a digital space for e-commerce and for everything in between. Number three, renewable energy is a very big asset. Many of companies who have ECG programs, they would want to decarbonize their enterprises. You have an opportunity to decarbonize some of your investments in other parts of the world by investing in Kenya and using our renewable energy. There is great proposition there. And finally, we are consistently working on improving the business environment. In fact, one leading agency positioned Kenya as the best investment destination in 2024. Maybe possibly that's why you guys are here. So I think that counts for something. And then finally, we are a democratic country. The president seated here doesn't have absolute power. You don't have to be my friend to do business in Kenya. You just have to follow the rules. We have working systems. We have a working judiciary. We believe in the rule of law. We protect people's business. And that is important for any business person to know, that nobody will wake up one morning arbitrarily and do stuff that they don't like. So we protect people's investments. We believe in the same values as our good friends in America do, and that shared value makes us friends and makes us people who we can collaborate. Mining is a sleeping giant in Kenya. There is tremendous opportunity. We have just lifted a moratorium that had been put on mining. We have set the rules. We have put in place the regulations, and we are ready to go. So if there is any person in the space of mining, you have an opportunity in Kenya. And we have huge assets from cobalt to rare earth to many other important minerals. On blue economy, at the moment, the potential there is 120 billion Kenya shillings every year. We are only doing a fifth. So there is opportunity in that space. We are doing 20 billion at the moment. We can do 120 billion. There is space in the blue economy. There is space in the marine ecosystem. Again, we can work with American companies or other private sector actors in that space. We have set the rules. We have put the investment environment in the right place, and there is opportunity there. And of course, tourism. It is rare to go to a place where, as you speak, the gods are giving you endorsement through rain. And if you wanted a witness, Gina is here. So Kenya is the cradle of humanity. The earliest remains of man in the world are found in Kenya. That is why you hear Ambassador here saying people like to live in Kenya because Kenya is home to everybody. Yes, that's what it is. And it's not me saying, it is science saying that Kenya is the home of humanity. So we have a great tourist product from the wildebeest migration in our national parks to our sandy beaches. And of course, we have made it easier for you to travel to Kenya. Today, you don't need a visa to come to Kenya. Just need to fill a small form. It takes about 7 minutes, and you will have the authorization to come to Kenya. So please, those of you who are listening to me from different parts of the world, you're welcome home to Kenya. The pace of growth in Kenya-US trade affirms the vast opportunity that exists for growth of Kenyan exports and expansion of their variety with very real possibility of broadening a positive balance of trade. This ambition and the immense role of the private sector in it informs the vision of a new trade and investment arrangement with the US under the Strategic Trade and Investment Partnership, STEEP. And we all know that there is acceleration of negotiations and collaboration in that space so that we can unlock the tremendous potential that it portends, not just for Kenya, not just for our region, but for the US as well. For some time now, Kenya has been focused on pursuing trade relations with the US beyond AGOA. Consequently, we entered negotiations to develop a new framework to anchor bilateral trade and thus launched STEEP, which is aimed at enhancing our engagements in trade and investment and facilitating high standard commitments in a wide range of sectors. It is our hope that the ongoing negotiations on outstanding issues will be conducted in a few months to enable us embark on the implementation of STEEP, possibly by the second half of this year. I am very happy that the ministry responsible for commerce in Kenya and the US are thinking of an MOU and a relationship between the two ministries so that we can leverage on it to do more, even as we look forward to not just the renewal of AGOA, which we are crossing our fingers, and Raimondo has given me some ideas on what we need to do to get it over the line. The strong presence of major US investments and their contribution to a broad variety of sectors, both in Kenya and throughout our region in East Africa, is undeniable. US companies in Kenya continue to excel through effective partnerships with both the government as well as local private sector firms to implement diverse projects and enhance access to energy and power, develop infrastructure, create state-of-the-art manufacturing plants, develop local supply and value chains, and support Kenya's digital transformation. You are invited to seriously consider and engage with a wide range of investment opportunities available in various agro-industrial value chains and other sectors that my Ministry of Trade will point. These opportunities are available in numerous agro-industrial value chains to produce medical commodities and biomedical supplies locally, deliver digital infrastructure and last-mile fiber optic connectivity, construct 250,000 new housing units annually over the next 5 years, and develop our micro, small, and medium enterprise sector, a whole ecosystem of thousands of enterprises. More critically, I invite you to also consider the intentional measures we have taken as a country to develop the necessary conditions for private sector growth, including creating a stable, transparent, and predictable business environment. Our achievements and progress in this regard are reflected in Kenya's steady rise in various global indices and rankings that measure the quality of investment climate and business environment. We have not stopped working on our institutional frameworks through legislative and regulatory interventions, as well as capacity building and effective coordination of stakeholders and strategies to elevate our investment profile. I give a commitment here for the benefit of our existing and incoming investors that the business environment and the business climate in Kenya will keep getting better and better because we will not stop making improvements. I have had extensive engagements with our own private sector. We have discussed extensively some of the issues they think government can do better. And I say so especially because during my engagements with a number of industry leaders and major players, the issue of our regulatory posture was underscored as an important concern. We have delivered on this space. We had 9 items that we discussed with the private sector here at AMCHAM last year. We've delivered on each and every one of them. And I want to say every investment to us must make sense to both the investor and it must make sense to all our interventions in the trade and investment space. I also invite you to consider several other advantages which commend Kenya as your trade and investment destination of choice. To begin with, our location is an enduring strategic advantage that is difficult to beat. Our situation on Africa's Indian Ocean coast gives us immense reach and makes us the gateway to East Africa as well as the Southern and Central Africa region. Kenya is highly committed to regional and Pan-African economic integration and is a member of the East African Community, the Common Markets for East and Central Africa, and of course, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which confers preferential access to markets of 350 million people in EAC, 500 million people in COMESA, and 1.4 billion people market in ACFTA. Our geostrategic advantage has been complemented by a seamless network of highly developed roads, rail, port, and air infrastructure, and the fact that our country is a landing site to 6 undersea fiber cables, the only region in Africa. We have the potential to facilitate 24-hour operations in order to serve different time zones through efficient transport and communication infrastructure. A number of tech giants and business process outsourcing concerns are already seizing this advantage to great benefit.
Today to share a little bit an overview. It's important for us. Okay. So let me start sharing.
My name is Gavin Hudson. I'm
in the medical diagnostics. Yes, we have collaborated extensively with CAPFA and USAID, especially in the HIV.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Cancer space, and therefore oncology and that kind of stuff that I'm really keen about.
We owning that. Also with great interest in
But she's been immensely
there to see how we can support the child.
We have run for office. I was a governor of my state.
It's not easy.
But it's around Kenya, in the United States, totally changed. So, I will the Leaders Conference in DC in 2022.
Yes.
Let's do it further, come on.
These people do this, stand there. Okay, thanks.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you, Sean.
Amazing. President, it's such a pleasure to be here again. I am Eno Edward, and I am in the healthcare space and mobilizing everything that we can, including the U.S. President, so they can attract financing. Invest. Two things that I experienced here.
That's a garment facility in Town. So, yeah, well, to summarize, as the ambassador said,
Singaporean firm, but an big American presence.
Yes.
And it else needs to be done so we can do something.
Are you excited about this too?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we are to make a $5 million investment. So that's one of the projects.
And an export expertise from our farmers.
200 million
What do
in
you
apparel.
want?
In apparel, so we've now in apparel. We have a little bit in snack nuts, like macadamia, and ambassador with
The potential is enormous, and
both are doing to bring the suppliers, so the capability, not just in, so it's been great to really start to learn the Kenyan market.
5 years ago now. Since then, we've expanded into Africa.
You're talking to a brother?
Yes.
Because he is one of the largest chicken farmers in Kenya.
Small-scale sector, with the aim of ultimately integrating. And then, if you look out the left-hand side, you'll see our chicken farm. So we sell the breeding stock throughout sub-Saharan Africa, and our interest in stock into the market for 3 years, and now we are to phase one.
okay.
We had our breeder farm in Western Windsor. Following that, we looked at a bigger hatchery, and of course,
Would not let the ethanol into.
So let me see if I can.
They came to me this afternoon. They were not what you would like to do.
Get me the Lawrence again to see.
You will recall all the drama around.
Thank you for the gift of it. Very much in line with your Vision 2030. Leads to you bearing good news.
What's to do is monetize these stranded or underused.
You know, the relationship isn't new. 60 years of diplomatic relations and close relationships. The president has said we have shared values, strong democracies. Like, there's a lot of reasons we're close. But I think, candidly, on account of your leadership and on account of President Biden's leadership, I think after the 2022 African Leaders Summit, at the end of 2022, we've entered a new era of deeper integration. And it's coming at the perfect time because, as the president has said, Kenya is just really on the move. Talent, green energy, Silicon Savannah, good leadership. So it's a perfect time for us to enter this new era of deeper collaboration. And I think the companies see that. So of the 14 companies I brought with me, many have been doing business here for a long time. Cisco, Microsoft, MasterCard, they're no strangers to Kenya, but yet they're doubling down.
Yeah.
That's what we are hearing. And then we have new companies. Bayless is making a new investment, MBA is deepening, Pfizer. So what I have heard, and venture capitalists, we had a lunch yesterday with venture capitalists. Really, all the venture capitalists who are here are happy, right? They see the opportunity. They say there's a culture in Kenya where people aren't afraid to take risk and fail. So my job, our job, the three of us here, we have a job, which is to tell the story more back home.
Yep.
Let Silicon Valley know what is here. Let Wall Street know what is here. Let U.S. multilaterals know what is here. More exchange programs. Take more Kenyans to America to learn to come back. So I guess I'm just excited. You have the resources, you have the leadership, and also, last thing I'll say is you have, in terms of the green energy, the digital data center you just mentioned is a perfect example of what you call the win-win.
Tell the audience a little bit about what the Commerce Department does to really further trade between the U.S. and Kenya and back the other way.
Yeah, thank you. It is a broad set of responsibilities, as you say. Everything from AI, so we're just standing up now the U.S. AI Safety Institute. And in fact, while I'm here, we announced a new partnership as between Kenya and the U.S. around AI. I think there's huge opportunities to collaborate there, to create jobs, but also set the standards of the, rules of the road around our shared values. I think it's very important. We also, we've talked about AGOA. Although I'm not the trade rep, it's certainly President Biden's priority, and we would like to support that to make sure that Congress renews AGOA. One of the things under my authority is the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Protecting IP, so important. So we look forward to providing more assistance to the government, but to companies and entrepreneurs. So you know how to protect IP and value the protection of IP. But also, I would say my top priority is just getting U.S. private sector to invest in Kenya. That is the number one thing. Right now, for example, when I think of venture capital, and I was in the venture capital business, so I know a little bit about it, it's amazing how you're the top destination in Africa by dollar and per capita for U.S. venture capital. That's not by accident. They like to be here. They make money here. They do well here. So
People like to live in Kenya, too.
People like to live in Kenya. So, my job is let's do more. If I could just expose the benefits here, this time we have 14 companies, bring more companies, more investment, that would be, my top priority.